So, I'm getting the wonderful opportunity to introduce you to Amy Greene. And I'm going to give you a little background on Amy. Amy Greene, who is now in her 90s, was a real trailblazer in the image and beauty and publishing world. And she actually created Marilyn Monroe's business image, is how she refers to it, after meeting her when her husband was using Marilyn Monroe as a model. And her husband is Milton Greene. And you can look him up, Milton H. Greene. And I worked with Milton for probably around 10 years. And we did many things for Harper's Bazaar and Life magazine. And, one of the things we did for Harper's Bazaar was Women Over 40, where we shot celebrities. We updated their image and shot women and men celebrities for Harper's Bazaar. But back to Amy Greene. So Milton was a internationally well-respected and known photographer, and he shot fashion, and he was most famous for shooting famous celebrities. And some of his most well-known images are an image of Frank Sinatra standing under a street lamp with the hat, and Sammy Davis Jr. kicking his feet up in the air, but many, 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 many images. Most importantly, he was Marilyn Monroe's favorite photographer and the president of her production company. Milton brought Marilyn out to Connecticut for a photo shoot weekend, and Amy, we lost some of the interview through technical difficulties, which is very frustrating. But one of the stories that came up was that Marilyn, that we don't now have on film, I don't think, was that Marilyn was at the house in a bubble bath. And she got a phone call. And Amy went into Marilyn's room and said, "You have a phone call." And Marilyn said, "Oh, bring it into the bathroom." And she was in the tub surrounded by bubbles. And Amy said she must have used the whole bottle of bubble bath. So there was Marilyn Monroe surrounded in this off-white soft light. And Amy looked at her and said, "Oh, you really are beautiful. You really should stick with off-white clothing and let that skin shine through." And she tells many wonderful Marilyn stories that we have on tape, and that'll be part of this interview that I did with her. But Amy also was the beauty editor for Glamour magazine, and she came up with the "Don't wear this, wear it like that," which was the last page on Glamour magazine, which I always thought was faked. But she'll tell how that evolved and how that happened and how she got the girls to allow them to publish them wearing the latest trends wrong. And also she was involved in starting the costume exhibit at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York with Diana Vreeland. And she also had a cosmetic line, private label, at Bendel's called Beauty Checkers. And they did makeovers at the beauty counter, and she'll tell that story. So she's just an amazing personality. When I met Dianne Carrol told me that Dianne was just a teenager in Yonkers when she met Amy, and that Amy taught her everything from how to hold a fork to how to walk. And, Dianne Carrol's image was always chic. Always, always chic. And in fact, one of the things we discuss about Marilyn Monroe is that although Marilyn was seductive, she was never tacky. And Amy's spin on that comment from me is very interesting as well. So I'm so happy that I was able to spend the time I did with Amy in my lifetime. I've known her about 40 years because I met her son Joshua when he was like 20 years old, and so was I. And Joshua was a photographer in Boston, and I was modeling at the time. And we've had a lifelong friendship. So I'm very, very proud and very thankful to Amy for her generosity of time and energy in this really wonderful interview about creating stars.